Well, certainly nothing good ever did. And Tuesdays in February are probably the most pointless days in all of history. Dark, cold, not even halfway to Friday. Well, research would probably show that most bad decisions ever made were made on Tuesdays in February. Your mind just isn't right. Of course, there are some February Tuesdays that stand out more than others. One in particular is a kind of February Tuesday that will stick in my memory forever. It started out as just another normal day. The kids got off the school bus like they do every day, and the hall was filled with the usual stampede of students, heading for their lockers and gathering into small groups, chatting away about the usual school stuff. Stuff that seemed dreadfully important until we heard the bell announcing homeroom. You see, that's the moment we decided to kidnap Miss Famali. That's Tim Stack, my best friend. He's a bit odd, I admit, and some people say he walks like a duck, and most people just don't get his jokes. But I do. We even dated briefly once, but that was so third period. Now we're just friends again. Anyway, you could say that Tim marches to the beat of his own drummer. In fact, he is his own drummer. You know how people say that percussionists are somehow, well, different than the rest of us? Well, Tim is different than the rest of us and the rest of them. The kid in the hat is Al. Miss Famali calls her Alexandria, but she doesn't like that very much. You couldn't exactly see her as the snowball queen type, but she's pretty cool. She gives Tim a really hard time, but we're the three best friends that anyone could have. You know, it's funny that for years, teachers joked that Tim, Alex, and I would be partners in crime. And then, you know, it really, well, Miss Famali, that's our English teacher, and the reason we're all here tonight, taught us that it's better for us to show instead of tell. So I guess the best thing to let you do is join me back on that fateful February Tuesday. By the way, my name's Casey Matthews, and I have an English project due today.
You ready to give that speech in English class today?
Is anyone ever ready for English? It's like asking someone if they're ready to face a firing squad.
Yeah, and Miss Famali doesn't even give you a blindfold.
You're telling me she can slay a student from across the classroom with a single strike of her tongue.
I never even know what she's talking about. She uses these big words all the time. She's like a walking thesaurus. Yesterday she called me petulant, truculent, recalcitrant, all in the same sentence.
Ouch, what did you do about it?
What else? I thanked her. I think she likes me.
Well, it certainly sounds like it. You know, she insulted Ryan McKeever last week in homeroom, and it took him until 8th period to figure it out.
Well, he doesn't quite have my grasp of advanced vocabulary. So today's official failure midterm day, huh?
Not funny. If I don't get at least an 85 on Miss Famali's oral exam today, my dad said he's sending me to military school. An all-girls military school. Do I look like the type of person who would enjoy military school?
Well, aside from a poor posture, daily desire to sleep every day until noon, and the fact that you don't exactly like to follow rules or instructions, I'd say you fit right in. Come on, what's the big deal?
Oration, Alexandria, oration. If it was good enough for the students of Plato in ancient Greece, it is good enough for my students at Preston School. I have to recite some dumb poem, ode to a tree or something. I just can't do it. I can hear the morning bugle call at the Lady General's military school now.
Well, you could always go home sick before class.
Again, the nurse won't even let me in the health office. She said I wasn't welcome unless I needed CPR, and even then, I needed a note from home.
Hey, it's freezing in here all the time, right? Maybe Miss Famali will be out sick today.
Formidable Famali, she's never absent. I think she's too mean to get sick.
You're probably right. Gum? She'd have to be kidnapped to keep her out of school.
Oh, hey, Mr. L. Nice tie.
Thanks. This one's a classic. It's older than you are.
It's a bit bright, isn't it?
Only half as bright as you three are, but we're twice as hard at being noticed for it. See, being bright commands attention too, you know.
That's low.
Not as low as your history average.
All right, children, move along. No gossiping. Let's get to class. Hey, Mike, can you turn it down on the neckties? We get complaints that you don't look professional.
Lou Stacy?
Who else?
She does have a point, though. It is a bit much.
I'm simply exercising my constitutional right to express myself through neckwear. I take great care to...
Choose the ones that annoy her the most, right?
How'd you know?
This has been going on for years. I was in your class way back when. I got you that tie for Christmas.
You always had impeccable taste. Though Stacy has no taste.
She has an eye for detail, though. She told me you borrowed her stapler again and failed to put it on the right side of her desk. Seems something else has been going on for years, right?
So we spar a bit. It keeps us young. Well, me anyway.
Don't antagonize Miss Molly.
Sorry, I can't hear you over my time.
This is ridiculous. It's everywhere. If we could find a furnace that landed on chewing gum.
There you are, ma'am.
Monty? Have you fixed the furnace yet?
No, ma'am, I've not fixed the furnace yet.
What seems to be the problem?
She's held together bits of string and gum.
The budget vote is coming up. You should have a new furnace delivered in a year or two.
Oh, she's been a noble beastie.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. Seems to be no shortage of gun around here.
It's like that episode of Star Trek. You know the one. The engineer had to save the ship, and there were no new parts.
Monty, this is a school, not a spaceship. Just see what you can do, okay?
I suppose I could rewire the generator to divert power to the furnaces.
Yes, you do that. There's no gum chewing allowed in my school. No gum chewing. And that means you, Miss Casey Matthews, and your trusty sidekicks. Don't bother hiding it.
We weren't chewing gum, Miss Donnelly. Honest.
No sirree. No dawdling, no chewing, no hiding. In fact, there was no action verb going on here, except for maybe standing.
Amphibian, right, Mr. Stacks? Don't forget I'll see you later for that little raid on the field hockey party.
Raid? What raid?
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Someone dressed up in monster masks and kilts and crashed the end of the season party.
It wasn't us, Miss Bentley. You got the wrong kids.
Yeah. Why would we be there?
He had hairy legs and all.
Come on, I shaved my legs. They're the smoothest at the party.
Frankly, I don't know how you women keep up with that.
Miss Donnelly has to do something about the heat.
There's an arts festival meeting before they set up for the book fair, and the main conference room's an icebox.
I know. I'm working on it.
Working on it, having strolling the halls help get the heat on.
Oh, Miss Donnelly, don't turn the heat on. I suggested making ice sculptures in art class this week. Oh, I'm sorry. Clay is good too. Forget I was here. Carry on.
I really am working on it, ladies. Well, I have Mr. Montgomery rewriting the theme to divert the power to something or other.
We want heat in this building.
5 second period.
Well, look on the bright side. At least the lights are still on.
Hey, Mr. Montgomery.
Your warriors have arrived.
Warriors, plural.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, 1 second. I gotta get it. Hold on, 1 second.
Good morning, Eric. And who might this be?
I might be Michelle Angelina Pomodoro, Eric's cousin from the city. I'm Bill. Or I might be Mighty Thora, Norse goddess of thunder and lightning. Whew, be a goddess, that's so cool.
Not now, Eric. We're very busy this morning.
That's why we have come. To conjure the mighty spirit of Thor.
And to relieve your suffering.
If she relieves suffering, make her the school nurse. She hasn't relieved suffering in 20 years.
Sorry, Eric. And Thora. But as you can see, the lights are back on.
But if you and the other invisible lackeys want to invade the boiler room and create a fire, it'd be greatly appreciated.
As my people hail from Scandinavia, we are impervious to the cold.
Eric, you're Italian. Our people hail from Brooklyn.
We're my mother's side. Now, my father's side,
We're Viking warriors. Even fought beside Eric the Red.
So naturally, we're left with Eric and Nut.
Son, the first period has begun. You two should get along. I'll write you a class. Where are you going?
We both have math.
ah yes, Matt.
Oh, divine conqueror.
Here.
job seriously.
How do you count dressing up like a Viking once a week a job?
Dressing the part doesn't make it so. At least she's concerned about morale around here.
Now see here, Mr. Lockman.
Miss Donnelly, Miss Kamali didn't show up for the arts festival meeting, and she's in charge of our school's entries. And as usual, we have very few to choose from. We need Lou Stacy's help to solicit for more student participation.
That doesn't like her. She takes her job on that committee very seriously.
Seriously? She's been on that committee for 30 years. I think she once rejected a poetry entry from Shakespeare.
But perhaps she's taken ill.
I've checked the faculty room, the nurse's office, and even the stairwells. Her car's still in the parking lot, but she's nowhere to be found.
Miss Donnelly, these were found scattered in the hallways of the English room. They are the tests Miss Kamali is giving this afternoon.
That's not like her. She wouldn't do that.
I wonder where Miss Stacy is. Where could she be?
It is as if she's completely disappeared.
Oh, this should be good.
We're here to set the book fair, man. Who is this?
I'm the principal.
That would be Miss Roberta Donnelly. She took over until last year.
I thought the CEO here was a man, a Mr.
Manelli?
That's the one. Good man. Got things done. I want him. Get him back.
I'm very sorry to say that it's impossible.
Yes, you see, Mr. Manueli, he died.
Died? Who signed off on that? Did I get a memo on that?
Yes, here it is.
And
She's in a rubber fruit basket.
that's nice. I'm thoughtful that way, but you should have told me. I like to be informed when I'm being thoughtful.
Well, as you just heard, I'm Roberta Donnelly.
Myra Lyman, PTA President and Manager Director. My card. My card. Why doesn't she have my card?
Thanks. Are you parents as well?
My personal assistants, Andrew and Rafaela.
Which is which?
Doesn't matter.
Miss Donnelly, you have a phone call? She says it's important, but she won't say who it is.
Yes. Miss Lyman, I have to cut this meeting short. We have something very important regarding a faculty member.
Don't try to change the subject. I called this little pal on us up to the book fair, and that conference room feels like a North Pole. This is completely unacceptable.
I've done some preliminary research, and national PTA statistics tells that cold is very indicating sales.
And
And when your interior temperature between 67 and 72 degrees, it's encouraged productive browsing on this area.
Miss Donnelly, can you take this call?
Ask what it's in reference to, please, Hilda. Miss Lyman, we have our crack custodial staff implementing a solution as we speak.
imagine a public school with inadequate heat. What about the children? To think of my darling
Elizabeth?
is here in these conditions. This kind of thing didn't happen at Mr. Manelli's principal.
You know, the school's a lot warmer. There are fewer Viking invasions, and there's considerably less gum about.
Miss Bentley, I'm sorry you didn't get this job, but it's high time you and everyone else adjusted to me here as principal.
Miss Donnelly.
What?
Miss Kamali been kidnapped.
Kidnapped?
We never had a kidnapping when Mr. Manelli was here either.
Well, it's a good thing we still had these masks in our locker from the field hockey party. Sad thing was, we fit right in, and they weren't even wearing costumes.
No, someone saw me in my mask and asked if I like playing goalie.
That would be Frida. She's in my gym class. She likes to try to pick me up over her head. But believe me, you look better with the mask on than she does without, and I have better legs. But do you really think this is a good idea? I mean, kidnapping a teacher in order to avoid a presentation seems a bit, extreme.
It's a great idea. In fact, it's probably the best idea that you've ever had.
I've ever had? This was my idea?
Yes, you're the one who said she'd have to be kidnapped to be kept out of school.
Well, I meant that more as an amusing observation than as a command decision.
It's brilliant.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely. And that blackout was a sign from above. Perfect timing. Now not only will we get out of Miss Kamali's oral exam, but we'll get to collect a ransom too.
You know, I'm reluctant to admit it, but this is my first kidnapping. How do we go about getting ransom?
Easy. We write a note like they do in the movies. We say she's in danger, and if they ever want to see her again, yada, 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 they pay to get her back.
Can I do it? I love creative writing. I hate to brag, but Miss Flamali once told me that I had a unique writing voice.
Tim, unique can be taken two ways.
Well, I'm sure she only meant it in one. Well, I better get on that ransom deck. We can just sit back and wait for the money.
But what do we do with her in the meantime?
That's the best part. We don't have to do anything with her. She'll just sit quietly in that storage room until we negotiate for her release.
Yeah, I guess you're right. How much trouble can one old lady be?
Armed students, icicles in the conference room, now Lou Stacy kidnapped?
This place is a zoo.
Miss Hightower, Lou Stacy will turn up. This is just a joke. Wait, armed students?
That crazed binding, he's got a sword.
That's an umbrella.
Well, he waves it in a menacing manner. Our contract clearly states that we deserve a safe working environment.
Miss Hightower, while your contract does state you deserve a safe working environment, it does not prohibit the use of rain repellent gear, menacing or not.
Now the girl has joined us. She's forming a gang. We have to do something. Call the police.
About the football mascot who's wielding an umbrella around.
Not for him, for Lou Stacy.
Lou Stacy will turn up. There's kids in this building. You cannot sort of panic.
Panic? Are you kidding me? When these kids find out Lou Stacy's gone, it'll be like Mardi Gras around here.
The police must only phone them immediately. Maybe there's something in our contracts that covers this. Maybe it's under stipends. If teachers are going to be kidnapped, we should at least give a little something extra in our paychecks for it.
Kidnapped? Who got kidnapped?
No one. Sorry. There's a small chance, mind you, a very small chance, someone has kidnapped Lou Stacy from Molly.
Who in the world would want to kidnap Miss Stacy?
I don't know, but I guess it's up to me to get her back.
I wouldn't want to take the credit for that, or the blame.
This isn't funny, Mr. Walkman. Lou Stacy is missing.
Poor Lou Stacy. I just feel bad for whoever kidnapped her. I stood next to her at a fire drill one time, worst 5 minutes of my life.
If Lou Stacy's been kidnapped, I'm sure she's very frightened.
Oh, poor Lou Stacy. Why'd you hire her anyways?
I didn't hire her. She came with the building. Like a broken furnace and the moldy fabric couch in the room.
The one with the saggy cushions and the spring that's a pain in my...
You have no idea, Mr. Walker. She's been a pain there since I've gotten here. She has this unsurpassed ability to make me feel like I'm 12 years old again, sitting in her classroom, frightened. And worst of all, she's the president of the I'm Not the Good as the Old Guys Club.
Frank Manelli? I never knew him.
It's not my fault the guy had a heart attack. He probably planned it around her to get away from her. I'm thinking of talking to myself.
Don't you think that's a bit extreme? After all, you are the boss around here. But if you decide not to find Miss Stacy, I think that's the best thing you've ever done around here.
Have you called them yet?
Call him.
The police. You know, Luke.
Hey, did you finish that ransom note yet? Can we see it?
Well, I finished it, but I'm doing it over.
Doing it over? Why?
Miss Flamali may have seen it.
What?
Well, she must have had a red pen in her purse or something.
She corrected it?
She had to. I didn't have my dictionary or my thesaurus, and I couldn't go to my locker because you said I had to stay here.
You failed the ransom note.
Look, she said it was too stereotypical and not original. But this one is much better. I avoided my cliches, my verb tenses match, and I'm no longer splitting my infinitives.
Well, maybe you should just write a confession for extra credit.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we'll find it here someplace.
What do I need it for anyway?
Character. You need to get in character.
Ew, is that a spider?
What are they doing here?
Just humor him. Maybe he'll get bored of me. Say, Eric, how is my favorite Viking? What are you looking for?
Traditional period garb. Befitting a Viking warrior princess!
In other words,
Costumes. I was having trouble getting under the skin of my part with just this umbrella sword. So Eric thought I needed a more concrete connection to my character's Viking roots. You know, I only took this part to gain experience for my acting career. Someday I'm going to play in the classics.
Lady Macbeth, Gypsy Rose Lee.
Oh, High School Musical, duh!
Here it is. You guys remember that disastrous production of The Valkyries that Molly produced?
Remember? Of course I remember. My sister had the lead. Yes, that's right. She's smart, she's pretty,
she's pretty smart and can sing, why did it flop?
It seems there was a creative conflict. Mrs. Molly went for the boring German opera version, but the costume director went for the sexy Marvel superhero version.
I love that comic. Valkyrie is quite the babe.
Yeah. The show was fine until a little mishap. Mr. Manelli closed at intermission.
Yes, but my sister went on to be prom queen. She hasn't been home a Saturday night since.
Prom queen? Ugh.
Say, what are you guys doing down here anyway? Skipping Mrs. Molly's class?
Yeah. Say, Eric, you won't rat us out, will you?
You have my word as a Viking warrior.
Mine is a Marvel comic book superhero.
Oh, good. I thought they'd never leave. 10!
What? She's a very believable Norse goddess.
She's like something out of my cousin Valkyrie. You know, I had no idea that kidnapping Miss Famali would mean so much worse for us.
What does she have you doing?
A report on famous kidnappings in history.
Me too!
Me too. And I still have the ransom note to write and a poetry assignment she assigned me this morning. What are we doing? Aren't we supposed to be in charge of her?
I don't know. She called it a teachable moment or something. I'm up to the Lindbergh baby.
Limburger. Didn't he invent the cheese or something?
No, Limburger is a cheese that smells like feet.
Charles Lindbergh was an airplane pilot and the most famous man in the 1920s and 30s. It seems some guy kidnapped Lindbergh's son, snatched the baby right out of his crib, and nobody heard a thing.
Wow, that's creepy.
I know, and they never found the baby. For years, guys would come out of the woodwork claiming to be the baby, all grown up, and try to get the family fortune.
Hey, I found this English racehorse named Shigar that was supposedly kidnapped by Irish terrorists.
So?
So, they never found the horse. You know, I can see it now. That Limburger guy sitting on his saddle, riding away on Shigar. Two lost souls ripped from their loved ones, finding comfort in each other. Ride, little windy, ride. I'll keep a cheese in the window for you.
Hey, what's your poetry assignment?
It's an illustrated acrostic poem using the words felony abduction.
Ouch.
I know. Hey, maybe I can use that B in baby for my beeline. Wait, there's an L in Limburger and an L in felony. Is there a picture of cheese in this book? She wrote me a pass.
What are we doing here? I don't know about you guys, but she is driving me crazy. It's bad enough having her one period a day, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like some horror movie. Attack the Killer Study Hall.
Where the work never ends and the bell never rings.
Easy, Dr. Frankenstein.
I'm starting to get writer's cramp, and that weird little dent in my finger from holding my pen too tight. We've got to do something.
Like what?
I don't know. Let her go. Give her back or something. I'm beginning to wish I was in math class again.
Yeah, me too. It's time to ask for the ransom.
Well, they haven't finished revising the note yet. Miss Flamali says my conclusion is still weak and I need stronger verbs.
Forget it. Forget it. I'll call.
You're not allowed to have those in school, you know.
Yeah, well, they tend to frown on kidnappings too. Now, be quiet. I have to figure out what I'm going to say.
Hello? Hilda? Someone? I'm the principal. I can't be answering the phone. I guess everyone's out for lunch. Hello, Preston School. Miss Donnelly speaking.
Yes. I'm calling about Miss Flamali.
You're calling about who?
Miss Flamali. Miss Lustacy Flamali.
Oh, we used to have a teacher here by that name.
Yeah, well, we've got her now. Are you ready to talk terms?
I suppose we're ready. What do you have in mind?
Hold on. What do I ask her for?
I don't know. I saw in a movie once where they asked for 50 grand for a little boy. But Miss Flamali's pretty old. I wouldn't ask for more than 10.
But isn't $10,000 a lot? I mean, this is a school.
Have you seen the prices in the cafeteria? They make that chicken nuggets.
How does $10,000 sound?
Wonderful. could use it around here.
You could use it? What do you mean you could use it?
I'm not paying you.
Yes you are. That's how a ransom works. I know. I looked it up.
Ask her if she'd like to hear some synonyms.
So, what are you gonna do?
Listen, you seem like a reasonable sort, and you spend enough time with Miss Stacy by now to know the score. But as for me, let me tell you about my day. I wrote a memo that did not come back correctly. No students complained she gave them too much homework. No teacher was spitefully accused of putting her stapler on the wrong side of the desk. I addressed my faculty this morning, and no one mentioned the fact I used to be an art teacher. And to add to that, the PTA is selling enough cookies to finance a trip to Mars. I think I have to pass on that ransom.
So wait, does that mean you're not going to pay?
Let's just say I'm working on it.
That.
A sick person, a depraved person, a school principal.
Well, she can't get away with this. There has to be someone who wants Miss Molly back.
Maybe she has a boyfriend.
Nah, she's a teacher. Can't you just imagine her making her boyfriend pour his heart out to some 5-paragraph essay with true support and details in each paragraph, just when he wants to kiss or something?
Ugh, why would anyone ever date a teacher?
I don't know. Maybe that's why they always hang out with other teachers. They travel in packs like nuns or nuns. I have an excellent vocabulary. I never use personal pronouns in an essay.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that they like each other. Otherwise, teachers would probably be about the loneliest people in the world.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a nice old lady like Miss Molly back?
Miss Molly heard me call her old once. She said that teachers her age like the term experienced.
Can't Miss Donnelly get into trouble for not trying to get Miss Molly back?
I don't know. We need to think. We need a plan.
I'm too hungry to think.
Yeah. It should be about lunchtime by now. When the bell rings, we'll go get us some food. And then we'll go to Miss Donnelly and talk about that field hockey party thing. Then we'll see if anybody else knows that she refused to pay the ransom. And then we'll come up with a plan to get us out of this.
And what am I going to do?
You, my trusty sidekick, are going to keep an eye on Miss Molly.
How hard can that be, even for a cotton-headed ninny nugget?
Casey will understand. She's my best friend. A guy can only take so much. She knows what she's like. She'll forgive me.
Monkey. Yeah.
Who will forgive you?
Where have you been? I'm sorry, I just couldn't take it anymore.
What are you talking about? And what happened in here? It looks like the public library threw up or something.
What happened in here? I'll tell you what happened in here. Miss Flamali is what happened in here. That's what happened in here.
Tim, calm down.
You have no idea what I've been through. Essays, poetry, diagramming sentences, and the sentence kidnapping is a felonious offense. Felonious is the adjective. Look, I even had to write, I shall not abduct my pedagogue 100 times.
Wow, what's a pedagogue?
Funny you should ask. I didn't know either, so she made me look it up. Pedagogue, meaning teacher from the Latin pedagogus, named for the Greek slave who escorted children to school. That was bad enough. Then she suggested I write my research essay on famous kidnappings the old-fashioned way, on a typewriter using citations, numbered footnotes. Tiny number 1, Encyclopedia Britannica. Tiny number 2, IBID. Tiny number 3.
Wait. IBID? What's IBID?
More Latin, from the Latin ibidum, meaning from the same place. I thought she was an English teacher. What's this weird obsession of her Latin and old antique writing equipment? She's nuts. Typewriters and footnotes? People that old should be allowed to teach.
Come on, it gets worse.
Yeah, you could have to do your next journal writing with a stone tablet and chisel like on the Flintstones.
So you see why I had to.
What? What is that?
I had to let her go.
You what?
I had to. Don't you understand? Latin. footnotes in Latin, on typewriters. It was like working in the Dark Ages. Pretty soon she was going to give me an abacus to count the ransom money.
We can't let her go now.
Not like this.
We haven't even gotten to talk to her about the ransom.
She'll go right to the police and ruin everything.
We'll go to prison for sure.
This kidnapping was the worst idea we ever had.
Yeah. And in prison, you have more uniforms, earlier bedtimes, and bad food.
And women's prisons are filled with the same kind of girls who bully me in gym class.
We have got to talk to her.
We have to find her before she laughs to anybody. Come on.
Hey, fearless classmates. I have been looking for you.
Eric, have you seen Miss Kamali?
Or perhaps a well-armed SWAT team looking for a couple of kidnappers.
Miss Famali?
Why, yeah, I found her. She told me to give you this.
Us? Well, what could she ever want with us? Well, what is it?
Is it ticking?
No, it's the work we did today. She graded it.
She graded it? That means she knows it was us. I knew we should have taken that red pen away. She'll count it in our averages and fail us for sure.
Hey, I did really good on these. Wow, I've never seen grades this good from her before. Look, she even wrote me a note.
Don't read it. It's probably obscene.
Dear Mr. Stack, despite your attempts to disguise your identity with that ridiculous mask, I recognized your rather unique writing voice immediately. I see our one-on-one sessions have achieved positive results. Your writing has greatly improved and is finally living up to your lofty potential. With additional extra help and a desire to use your gift for good and not evil, you might even be published someday. Wow, Timothy Stack, published author.
Published? Oh, Timmy. You know, when I hit my big break in acting, I'm going to need a good screenplay to showcase my many talents.
Miss Flamali complimented me. Me. Wow.
Well, that's all cool or whatever, but we're gonna blow this popsicle stand.
Oh, Tim, we're so happy for you. You'll be the best writer. In reform school, we have to find her before she gets to anybody.
Hey, you did really good on these too. I mean, she went to all this trouble grading these. Maybe she's on our side.
Are you nuts? She's a teacher. We're kids. We're natural enemies.
Boy, if you think she got her jollies making us miserable before, what do you think she's gonna make us do now?
Then maybe we should just confess. I mean, adults always want us to fess up before they figure things out for themselves. Maybe we can just say what the school psychologist is always pushing for. School phobia or test stress or something.
Well, yeah, all of Miss Famali's students have that.
Yeah, but I know what we can do. We'll cry. Adults always give sympathy to the kids that cry.
And Miss Donnelly will let us off the hook if we keep her name out of it and she avoids any publicity. Come on, let's get this over with. Really important.
Whatever could it be?
Like, really important. Like,
From the bake sale! It's right there in front of me, now it's gone.
I bet I know who took it.
Are you accusing me of stealing cookie money? Really?
That's ridiculous. Miss Donnelly may have misled you about calling the police.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Henley, Miss Post, when I was confused, well, I believe you stood up for me.
Well, don't get used to it. We know you're an incompetent.
are you nuts? All that schoolwork has fried your brain. And now she's working on the grand finale.
Miss Donnelly, thank goodness Miss Stacy's safe.
No. Thanks to the disgusting conditions of this building. Bad enough to teach without heat or light, or to be overrun by mold. But now, the rooms themselves are holding us hostage.
She was stuck in that book room.
I got the form right here. A clear violation. I'm sure being swallowed by a subterranean book room, only to narrowly escape being eaten by wire-eating vermin, is a clear violation under 15-J. Safe working environment.
Yes, a clear violation. But the important thing is, she's safe now. Nothing else to worry about.
Poor Miss Stacy. You know, she said she learned a lot of being stuck in there all day.
Really? What'd she say? Well, she probably didn't want to talk about it. She's probably too tired. Tell her to go home. Stay at home for a week or maybe a month. Or she could retire now before ever talking about what happened here today.
No, you know Liz Stacy. She's teaching her last period class right now. She even stopped in for the end of our meeting.
And that's another thing. A school our size, we have not yet received one entry worthy of representing Preston School.
And if anyone knows anything about school spirit,
It's an offer you three cannot refuse.
Oh, no! No!
I think it's a fabulous idea. So what's it gonna be? Arts Festival or Lady General?
I think that's another Latin word, but it means that she looks out for him. She even entered his play in the National Young Playwrights competition. He's in the finals.
It was a heartwarming fantasy tale of a boy, his horse, and his cheese. It was a malodorous piece of cheese that made the boy an outcast. That is, until he met a beautiful superhero named Falcon.
Hey, Tim, save it for later. Make them buy another ticket, one play at a time. Oh, and get this. Alex was voted Snowball Queen. Well, that's all, folks. Good night.
Ah, night, from the German Nacht, which of course is derived from the Latin nox.
Scandinavia!